Welcome to another episode of the Career Report. We are your hosts, Tim and Christina Madden. Hope you are doing well. We hope you had a great Thanksgiving with the family. And we are back again for another episode of the Career Report, Christina, where we break down, hey, what's happening in the job market? What do you need to do? How can you get better? How can you get the job and money that you deserve? Man, there's a lot going on. So what do you think? We are in December now. You blink.
I know. Tim, will you move your mic just a little bit closer to you? You kind of going in and out. But yeah, it's like Thanksgiving came and went, guys. If you didn't see my recent LinkedIn post, it was like, okay, now what? Now what? It's December 1st, and around here, we believe that a successful January starts now. I mean, I spent a couple hours over the weekend putting together my goals and targets for January. It's like you might feel a little exhausted. You might have had too much to drink, too much to eat. You were entertaining the fam. There's a lot of pressure out there. So what are you going to do now? What are you going to do? We got to put some action steps together. We got to get some clarity and not be putting off your targets just because it's December. I know it's cozy out there. I know it's cutesy cozy, but you have to keep the momentum going. But Guess what, guys? Today we're going to do a Q&A from our audience.
Great. Well, first, as we get started too, don't wait for 2025 to end before you start working on next year's goals.
No, you're already behind.
You're already behind.
If you're not ahead, you're behind.
And I know this, if you're waiting, that's ultimately the worst possible thing you can do for any type of goal setting. Yeah, if you really want to have the best freaking life possible, there's one thing you can do. We say it all the time. If you have something that you want to do, you just commit to taking a little bit of action every single day. You don't miss any days and you keep promises to yourself, right?
I can almost promise you that your bad moods and like depression and anxiety and all these things, yeah, there's true medical diagnoses out there. I get that. But like, I can almost guarantee you that most of that would be relieved if you were in action and working towards something that has purpose.
Mm-hmm. That's where most fear comes from. It's when you're not doing things to improve your situation. It's like people kind of sit there and they're fearful and they don't do anything and they just keep worrying. And it's like the only way to diminish that is move in the right direction. But hey, we could talk about that all day. What questions do we have from the audience, Christina Madden?
Okay. Are you guys ready for this? So I asked y'all on LinkedIn to DM me, and then I asked our clients internally on Slack. And the first one that I got was from one of our clients. And I really want to dive into this for a second because this is one of my most asked questions over the years, like in general. Like I get asked this a lot. And I remember asking this in rooms 10 years ago. And this is a big topic for people. But the question was, do you have any advice for us introverts? I see all these great LinkedIn posts, but I also fear what peers would say if I posted. They are competitive, and I fear the possibility of negative or overly critical comments. Asking for a friend, LOL. So the first thing I want to talk about is what is the actual definition of an introvert? Because in this, what I see is that these two things are getting mixed up. One is fear of judgment, and then two, somebody really grasping onto this idea that they're an introvert. Now, the reason I go straight to this definition is because I know that 99% of people do not even understand what it means. And to be an introvert, because I am one, so I really can talk about this. And you wouldn't think that based on social media and publishing a book and being here with you on a podcast, right? Because the two don't belong together. This idea that you can't be a bold communicator and an influential leader, but also be an introvert. To be an introvert is someone that feels most energized, grounded, and restored by quiet solitude and internal reflection, rather than by constant external stimulation or large social events. Tim will attest to that. That is me all the way. I am more of a homebody. Like I get a little overstimulated in big crowds, or if a ton of people are over, I get really overwhelmed. I'm a perfectionist, whatever. But what I know is that that doesn't mean I can't show up professionally, boldly and bravely, and be a clear communicator, because again, these two things, they just don't belong together. Right? So you can be an introvert. And then second to that is, when did you start telling yourself you're an introvert, and what did you make that mean? Did you make that mean you're somebody who shuts down, you can't share, you're a quiet, mousy, shy person? Because that's not what it means.
Yeah.
Right? It's just not. And even if it, like, let's just say, even if it did mean that, that doesn't mean that you can't exist in that sort of like character avatar of a more quiet, reserved, internal, private person, but also understand that when you have a message and a mission and value, and you're a clear communicator, emotionally intelligent, empathetic, all these things, you can be both things, and they can coexist, right? Nobody's asking you to go out and party all night with a bunch of people and be a social butterfly. So that's that. And then when you unpack the second part of that question, fear of judgment, okay, well, I'm going to toss that one over to Tim. I have lots of stuff I could say on that. But okay, so you're worried about your peers, you're worried about, sorry if my computer's dinging, you guys. Fear of judgment, Tim, putting yourself out there. And oh my gosh, Tim, tell them about what your videos looked like, 10 years ago.
Yeah, they were obviously horrible. When I go back and look at them, they're painful for me to watch, let alone, man, you want to talk about criticism. When you see your stuff and you're so critical, you can only imagine what other people were thinking. But I would just say, hey, if you're worried what other people think, you better not be a leader. What do you think? You're going to go to your next company and your next senior level role, and everyone's just going to love you, and everyone's just going to go exactly with your idea every single time? That's not even realistic. So if that's not going to happen, why are you worried about this? And online, dude, people are freaking ruthless, guys. People are ruthless. Ruthless. If you're going to let that impact you, you're never going to have success. Look at, and I want to preach here. Read books of successful people. They've had to overcome so much. Man, I have to tell another story, because this is how you'll learn, right? Christina, do you remember, have you ever heard of that gum called the NeuroGum?
I think so. I think from you told me about that.
Yeah. It's supposed to like scientifically help with brain cognitive function. And I'm just telling you, like, people are going to hate on you, man. And people are going to try to take you out. This is just the reality of life. And what happened is, they were on Shark Tank. They ended up not taking a deal, but the special guest of Shark Tank said, hey, if you ever need anything, reach out to me. Here's what happens a year later. This big entrepreneur basically stole their idea, put them in heavy litigation, and said, sell the company to me or I'm going to put you out of business. And this is like a real story, right? This person's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So they didn't know what to do. They DM'd that Shark Tank guest on Instagram and said, hey, John, you said if I ever needed anything to reach out. Hey, man, we have a problem. That guy just so happened to call that entrepreneur and basically said, leave them alone or I will crush you. And I'm worth like 10 times the amount of you. But either way, it's just a story of like, you're going to get rejection, man. People are not going to like you. People are going to try to sabotage you and take you out. Welcome to the Success Club, right? Even here at Executive Career Upgrades, man, people copy us, right? It's all good. Companies are shopping us every single day because we're the market leaders. They're saying, what is our script like? They're just trying. So I'm just saying, like, besides, if you care about what people think, if you don't think people are going to try to sabotage you, all of these things on your way to success, you're mistaken. So it is what it is. Don't worry about it. You can't worry about it.
Now, if Tim's way of thinking feels too harsh or like unrealistic, she was like, okay, Tim's saying this thing, right? But it's easier said than done, meaning like you can't just quote unquote get over it. Then what you need to do is really get clear on your mission, your values, and who you are. And then it's just mission over everything. Doesn't your mission, at least who I talk to, wants to be influential leader with some power, well paid, desired in the marketplace, a great mom? Are those, when you think about that, when you think about those things you want to be, do, and have, how is that person behaving? They're not second guessing everything they put out just because of what somebody would think. So think about it in the sense of who you're becoming, and it's all from a place of integrity, good intention, and mission driven. Then you don't second guess yourself quite as much. That, at least that's what I have found to be true.
Well, the other thing is, if people are mean online, you know what I do? I block them. Block, go on with my life in 3 seconds. I'm done.
No.
Sometimes, but no. Part two. Are you ready, ladies and gentlemen? It makes for great engagement. It makes for great engagement. Here's why. I have people just blatantly saying things that are incorrect on LinkedIn. And I'm like, no, you're wrong. And I don't have a problem telling them that they're wrong. I already know what the truth is in this career game. So they're like this, right? And I'm like, no, you're wrong. And then they want to fight back and forth of me. But you want to know what the great thing is? Ladies and gentlemen, I get like 15 new followers every time I challenge someone on something that's like not correct. And I see like people follow me, DM me, and now they're going to hook up with our programs and stuff. And it's no different than you, right? You likely have tactics and strategies inside sales, marketing, etc., that other people won't agree with. Stand your ground, man. Right? That gains momentum as well. So it's like, I always try to think of, hey, what is the good thing that can come from this? So even when people are hating on you online for whatever, it still makes for good content and good reach.
That took him 10 years to develop that mindset, though.
For sure.
Because it doesn't start out that way. So when you first start getting a little bit of resistance and a little bit of maybe what you would perceive to be negative, maybe don't even get in there and like rebuttal and get into the back and forth, you know. But okay, so the next question then kind of ties into this, which is, how can I get more impressions? Well,
that's one way.
Shoot. Well, first let's first all decide here, if you've just learned that, wow, I'm an introvert and I can still be successful online in my brand. Wow. We just had if anybody takes away that breakthrough from this podcast, I would be so excited. How do you get more impressions? Well, you post. It's wild what you can get with impressions, right? And then go in and comment. And by the way, I'm not a LinkedIn expert by any means, but how you get more impressions is at least take action and post the content. Most of you aren't doing that. And then go in, you can drop yourself a comment, whether that maybe is a link to, like for me, I drop in my book a lot. And by the way, if you need help writing a book, we do a published authors program, and you can use that in your branding on LinkedIn. But stay active, stay consistent, post 1 to 3 times a day. That's going to boost how your posts get out there and your impressions and your followers. Tim has seen a drastic increase in his impressions just from those simple actions that he was just talking about, which is go in, like, comment, share, and then stay consistent. That's what we know. Tim, anything else on impressions?
Don't overthink it. When you're just getting started, you just have to, it's like going to the gym. Think about this. Are you going to have the perfect gear, the perfect nutrition program, the perfect coach, the perfect no, you're not, right? That's why, again, I wrote a whole book on this called Start Then Optimize. The goal of starting is to start. You actually optimize over time. Think about this. That's like starting a business at $100 million. It's not possible, right? What do you need? You need an LLC. You need sales. You need all the basic fundamentals, and you have to grow from there, right? And I'm not saying don't do things without strategy, but don't overthink so much stuff that you don't actually take action, because any action is better than none. And I would talk about, everyone always says, what do I post about? Document. Just think about this. What's going on in your life right now? What books are you reading? Are there any challenges you're going through? How have you gained to the level of success that you're at right now? I'm sure you had to learn many things. I had to learn very many painful, things throughout the military, throughout my education in corporate America and in business. I share them with other people, because one quote I always remember is from one of my mentors. He said, how are you going to go through your whole life and overcome all of these difficult things and not share with people how you did it? Like, don't be selfish.
Well, and it's just like right now, if we weren't talking about our journey with posting online and putting or me like talking about the challenges of over, it's almost like my bravery now becomes your permission slip, and you want to be doing that for other people. Yeah, just like yesterday, guys and gals, I posted, hey, I'm doing my goal setting session for January, and I posted a mirror selfie, the kind of selfie you don't usually put on LinkedIn. And somebody said, oh, I guess we're not cool. You posted a selfie on LinkedIngram. And then I liked it. I said, hey, I 10 out of 10 recommend you go take a selfie and post it, whatever. Anyways, guys, you kind of have to have fun with it also. Okay, so I'm going to pick the next question, which again, just kind of goes along with this a little bit. Well, which one do I want to do? I have two good ones.
Think about it for a sec. I want to say one more thing, if I can. With this whole posting online thing, if you're worried about some people saying this, always remember this. Over 80% of America is average, guys. Average lives, okay? Live paycheck to paycheck. Super, super average, right? They're typically the people who have things to say online. Successful people, in my opinion, lift other people up most of the time. Okay. So if you're out there showing up, right, no matter how bad your video looks, how bad your post looks, a successful person will never hate on you because they typically were there one day. I'm not saying I've had massive success, but I'll tell you what, just like Christina said, my first few videos will make you, oh my God, Christina, who was a more horrible communicator than me when I just got started? Man, you saw that one video. I didn't even know how to put like words together in front of a video. It's crazy.
Yeah, he used to get nervous. And if you guys knew this about him, he was also bald and fat.
I was bald and fat. I was.
And I still loved him then. Okay, so let's talk about really quick. Oh, guys. We get this asked a lot. Okay, and it really ties in well, but I don't want to bother people, he said. How do I reach out without feeling like a burden? This is the same thing. I want to look up the definition of a burden.
Do that. While you're doing that, I want to give you another definition. Learn your words. So we went over introvert. Here's another thing. Confidence. Just remember this. Confidence isn't something you have. Follow me. Confidence isn't something you have. It's something that you do. Mm-hmm. Okay? In case you're struggling with that right now.
The definition of a burden is something that feels heavy to carry physically, emotionally, or mentally. More precisely, a load, responsibility, or problem that causes stress, difficulty, or emotional weight for a person. Boom. You know what I just learned? I learned that you reaching out to connect with somebody with good intentions could never create an emotional, stressful burden for somebody. Do you guys see how that's not even real? It's not even reality. Creating a burden. What? You're providing a service. You're helpful. You have integrity. You're a light. You're great. You're great at what you do. Beyond that, feeling like a burden is because you're creating the story that you are a burden. Likely this has been with you for years, and you think everything has to be a stressful, burden, and you think connection can hurt you or hurt others. And the real question I want you to ask yourself is, what would I do if I could not be hurt or nothing could be taken away from me? You would do a ton of outreach. You'd be posting a ton of content. You would be all the way out there living your best life. And I got news for you. You can start living that way today with these very simple decisions. It doesn't take years in therapy to change your way of thinking. It can happen today. So more tactfully, though, you do need to seek to understand, provide value, and again, have good intention and a clear message to not be annoying. Okay. Yeah. So Tim, talk about that.
I would say this too. These businesses have problems that you can solve. If anything, you should be like, I'm trying to help you. That's what, like, after people go out, over the interview, like say Christina's thinking about, she's interviewing me for a position. We help people with the thank you notes, which I don't even like that word. It's like, thank you. Like, I'm not trying to be mean, but like, you have the problems. You have the opening. You need the sales leader. I'm the solution. You should be thanking me, jokingly, right? But when we talked about following up with people, it's typically like, hey, Christina, it was great to connect with you. Not like, thank you so much, right? Like this power status is going way down. It's like, hey, thanks for the ability to connect. We went over your challenges, what you're looking for. And then, right? So it's just kind of different than being like, thank you, thank you, thank you. So think about this. You are a problem solver for these businesses. And when you're continually following up with them, especially after an interview, you should. And you aren't bothering them. They have the problems. They're their sales that are down. You're their one that's like, Christina, sales are down 20% this year, as you stated, because you haven't had a sales leader in there, right? I went over my background. I've done this. Hey, what's the benefit of kicking this can down the road another 30 days? How are you positioning yourself? Man, we could do a whole podcast on like how you're positioning yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But think about this. Hey, you are trying to help companies, not bother them, because every company has challenges that you likely solve. We just had someone get hired in a company where they have a CRM with nearly 2 million contacts in it that are like not being actively engaged with, not being followed up with. They don't have the data. Like this is a data person, and it's crazy. And I'm like, imagine 2 million contacts that have like bought something for you, been on a subscription, and it's a good product, and they're just sitting there. It's wild. Probably, I don't know how much money that would potentially be if someone got in there and actually knew what they were doing, but let's just say significant. Remember, you are the problem solver. You're not the person who's bothering people.
Mm-hmm. And if you like, let's just say the worst case scenario is they don't want to talk to you. You'll either A, get ignored, B, they'll tell you no thank you, or C, this is probably the worst case scenario, be like F off or whatever, whoever it is, I don't know. If you've been consistent enough and they don't want to talk to you, that is the worst that's going to happen. But it doesn't matter, because your duty and responsibility as a professional in the world with a skill set is to put yourself out there, connect with others, and solve problems. So it doesn't matter. You don't even have to carry that guilt or whatever you start to feel. Like, again, people make things mean something. So if somebody says no thank you or doesn't respond to the DM, but you saw that you read it, doesn't call you back, no showed you on the networking call, whatever it is, just be very careful that you don't make it mean in your head, because that's the only place that this story will live. But you cannot make it mean that you've failed, you're a burden, you've been annoying, you've whatever, because it's just not true. Now, I know that that's easier said than done, and that does take repetition with thought work. But if you immediately make it mean something horrible and negative about yourself, you'll be stopped dead in your tracks. And again, like Tim said earlier in the podcast, if you're going to achieve anything great in this life, you kind of have to get used to and comfortable with putting yourself out there. And maybe it doesn't every single time, work out. Okay. So, well, that answers our next question, which was, what do I do if nobody responds to my emails or messages? You do a persistent follow-up. Then what, Tim? I mean, let's say you've sent 3 or 4 emails, crickets. Then what?
Welcome to 2025.
We get that all the time. Are you
like, do you know, we just had a Black Friday sale, ladies and gentlemen. Some of you took advantage of it. Do you know that on Black Friday, I believe we sent out 5 text messages to people, okay? To the same person. 5 text messages, probably 6 emails. And do you know we did that to our whole database? Christina, me and Jonathan were talking about this. Do you know how many people complained about getting too many emails or text messages on Black Friday? Can you take a wild guess?
No idea.
Not one person. Not one person. And guess who's on our email list, ladies and gentlemen, for executive career upgrades? You, directors, VPs, and executives, right? So think about this. Do you know why? Because we provide value to our community with people that are considering our services, etc. And we do just truly want to help people. So we come across as authentic. So how you follow up is important. How we follow up is like, hey, we know we can help you. We know we can help you, etc. If you follow up that way, right, you'll get good results. But people always ask me, when's too much? When they say stop contacting me. Besides that, right, frequent follow-up is important. Otherwise, I know this, they will forget about you, period.
Tim, what would you say to Somebody who's wondering, how do I re-engage a connection that I haven't spoken to in years? So
Absolutely.
that would
And then
you want to have your
I do have to move to a meeting after this, Christina. So I got about 4 minutes. But I would say, if I hadn't talked to Christina in years, and let's say we went to school together, a cert together, served in the military together, I don't know, but let's just say it's been a couple years. First, when I'm re-engaging with Christina, I'm not talking about anything about I need a job or anything. I'm literally saying, you say we, worked at IBM together, Christina. I'm going to say, hey, Christina, it's been a while since we worked at IBM. Hey, I remember when we had too many cocktails at the Christmas party, or do you remember the trip we did for being the I'm bringing up like a point in time with Christina, right? And then saying like, I know it's been a while since we reconnected. Hey, do you have some time on Wednesday or Friday at these times? Look forward to reconnecting soon. That's how I'm re-engaging. I'm doing it with no agenda. That's why people suck at networking so much, because it's like they do this to me too. Like, I haven't talked to these people in 4 years. Like, do you know anyone who's hiring? Like, hey man, how you been? How's the family, right? What are you targeting? Like, I don't even know. Your LinkedIn is blank. This is why so many people are ineffective in networking. And that's why everyone who comes to us, which says they already reached out to their network, Christina, I don't know if you know this, but we have statistical data over thousands of people we've helped here that 22% of everybody who joins our program is hired from someone in their network, simply because they probably didn't have a strategic approach to this, to getting help from their network, the people that want to help them the most.
Well, yeah, because people think I'm an introvert and I'm a burden and I'm annoying and I can't do this and I'm a failure and I'm not good enough. That's why when you get in our energy and in our environment and in our programs, we have such a heavy, heavy emphasis on mindset, because you all can see just from this podcast alone how much of it goes back to not strategy, right? It's mindset. Why do you think and believe that you cannot do outreach? I mean, that's going to be what stands in your way every single time until you learn a new way of thinking and behaving in your professional life.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, guys, December 1st is the day to start getting ahead for January 1st. And I'm real sad for you if you missed out on Black Friday.
Yep.
I'm sad for you.
No, hey, we increased it another day. So here's the thing, and then we're wrapping up. Well, it's Cyber Monday. ECU clients, we have an interview igniter program. There are 3 slots left. 3 people have pinged me, but that doesn't mean they're taken. Tomorrow, the slots that are not taken on the interview igniter that is posted in Slack are being kicked out to the open community. We want to have 10 people on this program. If you want more details on that, it's in Slack. If we also have another event tomorrow, you can go to career.execupgrades.com/workshop, where we're talking about the interview igniter and how people are getting on interviews. I'm sure we'll still have a slot or 2. And besides,
can we give them a little tiny teaser on what the igniter means?
Yeah, we're going to put interviews on your calendar. So many people have wanted this for years, right? Just put interviews on my calendar and I'm going to crush it, when I know it's not interviews. You actually only need like 3 interviews to get an offer, but we're just going to give people what they want, right? So we are going to help generate interviews for you inside this new program. So it's going to be good. It's going to be good, but I do have to leave, Christina, to go to this next meeting. So, hey, until tomorrow, remember, staying informed is staying ahead. And thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Career Report. If you need help in your career, you can go over to execupgrades.com/podcast, or email me at tim@execupgrades.com. Until tomorrow, have a great day, everyone.
Bye.